Good morning, and thank you very much for joining us. I am Yori Folari.
Well, it's Tuesday, and that's just a few days away from the Ekiti election, which is on Saturday. We won't be able to talk about it, as we go deeper into the week. So I imagine that probably by Thursday we're all done. So might as well get our, shot in now. Be sort of safe that we touched on it. I have a panel of gentlemen who are all deeply interested in the Ekiti scene, or maybe the better way to say it is that who are casting, an eye, knowing eye over goings on in Ekiti. Let me start with, one of our regulars and our dear friend, Dr. Jide Johnson, Deputy Provost, NIJ. You can trust Dr. Jide Johnson to give you, a middle-of-the-road kind of a scenario. This is the way it is. This is what I feel. Thank you very much for coming on again, Dr. Johnson.
Pleasure to be with John Glory and to share the set with the esteemed gentlemen here.
Our pleasure. And Mr. Femi Odere. Mr. Femi Odere is a political affairs analyst. Well, he indeed is a member of JKF 2018 Campaign Media Committee. So you're very, very welcome, Femi.
Thank you.
Glad to have you.
Thank you.
And then sitting right next to him is Mr. Biola Daramola. Mr. Daramola is a lawyer. He's a political affairs analyst. Now,
welcome, sir.
Thank you very much for coming, sir.
Thank you very much, sir.
So here we are. It looks like it's all action stations now. It looks like everything appears to be set. The Speaker of the House of Assembly in Ekiti, Honorable Kola Oluwawole, has said that the election on Saturday would be a litmus test for INEC regarding the 2019 election. He was speaking over the weekend at a rally. But the UK High Commissioner has been visiting with the national chairman of APC, Adams Oshiomhole, just by way of touching base with him, and has said that the UK mission in Nigeria would be sending a monitoring team. I suppose they probably will be welcoming all the monitoring teams that we can throw at them, because everybody seems to be bent on getting a free, fair election devoid of rancor, devoid of violence, which was the point that the UK High Commissioner to Nigeria, Mr. Arkwright, Mr. Paul Arkwright, he had expressed his that particular concern. On Sunday, the Redeemed Christian Church of God, King's Parish in Usi Ekiti, Kole local government had actually offered prayers. The congregation had offered prayers that it would all go without a hitch, devoid of violence and all of that. Well, there are 40 of them are in the race. There are 40 contestants that are going to be in the race. INEC has, 68 parties on its books. 40 of those will indeed be contesting, including 2 women, Zainab Olajumoke Saheed of Democratic Alternative and Margaret Anike Ilesomi of Action Alternative. Yeah, that's the party, not Action, that's Action Alternative. So those 2 women, I just mentioned them, they are going to be in the race with 38 others. Well, it is still felt that by most commentators that, the principals in this contest, according to observers, will be Dr. Kayode Fayemi of APC and the incumbent Deputy Governor, Professor Kolapo Olushola Eleka, of the PDP. There are other people, many, as I said, there are 40 of them. In fact, people can look forward to a debate on Ekiti, on the whole Ekiti thing that's coming up on Thursday. I don't know how they chose them, but much to the chagrin of all the other contestants, they've just chosen 5. I don't know how they arrived at that 5 that will indeed be debating. There's Dr. Fayemi, there's Professor Eleka, there's Akinloye Ayebusi of the SDP, then there's Segun Adewale of Action Democratic Party, and then there's Abiodun Aluko, a former deputy governor under incumbent Governor Ayo Fayose first time around. So that's the general lie of the ground. Let me start off with Dr. Johnson. This massive, I don't know, let me just remove that word. The security, the kind of security that has been put into that place, 30,000 policemen, 19,000 corps, civil defense corps members, apart from the involvement of the army too. there have been some comments about we don't want to be intimidated. They shouldn't come and intimidate us here. How do you view that infusion of security?
Well, it's important for security to be provided in order to forestall violence and breakdown of law and order in any...
So it's a real threat then? It's a real threat then?
It's important to provide that. But my take on it is that if we use Ekiti's election, the outcome as an index, to judge the performance of the security agencies in preparation towards 2019 election, it will be a wrong index to use to judge, because I'm not sure that the police or the security agencies will have the capacity to deploy the numbers of security personnel that they've released to go to Ekiti for general election, when we have election in 36 states of the Federation. Another angle which you look at it is that...
Do you think, Dr. Johnson, that there will be similar challenges in other states, or do you... Because I think the point is that for some reason, all the experts, intelligence people, whatever, must have seen that, might have seen that, special ailments require special cures.
For me, it's a failure of security system. If it has to take the Inspector General of Police and all these personnel, if the police commissioner of Ekiti State and the AIG of that zone cannot take care of an election in one state, and you have to deploy the resources, it still boils down to the issue of restructuring, which we are talking about. It tells about the fundamental problem with our structure in every aspect of our national life, that for you to get anything done in any part of Nigeria, you have to go back to Abuja, or you have to get directive from Abuja. So it's fundamental. It's important. One, it's important. I don't want people to misconstrue. It's important to have security. However, if you look at the deployment of the security, you see that there's something fundamental with our nation as a society. You can't have election in the state of Washington, for example, and you have... we need to move.
Femi, how do you see it? Is the security overkill, or how do you see it?
Well, the way I see it, Yuri, is first and foremost, it is not an overkill. Most especially when you consider the antecedent of a governor, this time around, Ayo Fayose, whose modus operandi in terms of electioneering includes murder and
Femi, Femi, you're making me quite uncomfortable, because I don't need to tell you these things. You can't say those kind of things on a program like this.
Okay, let me rephrase that a little bit. But see, the thing of it is that you have a governor who very recently, about 2 days ago, told the whole world that if Buhari is coming to Ekiti State, he might as well just come and campaign and leave right away. Now, who are you, a governor, to be telling the president of the Federal Republic of Nigeria that he does not have the right to stay? If Buhari decides to campaign for Dr. Fayemi from today until Friday, he has the right. So in other words, what he seems to be saying is that this is my territory. I don't want anybody. So in other words, it would be idiotic for the security apparatus not to actually take cognizance of that. And the other thing that I want to mention is that this kind of security situation, when you just oppose it with what happened in 2014, the PDP came with a very massive security apparatus. To do what? To rig. And the evidence is already there in the public domain. But this time around, the security is being put in place to forestall rigging. And that is the major difference. Because you've said, because you've had the PDP candidates and everybody else, who has been threatening in so many ways. So it will be shocking. They'll be shocking their responsibility for it if they don't come up with that kind of security.
Can I just mention? Thank you very much. Can I just mention that I put you on as political affairs analyst, but I also did include the fact that you are a member of the JKF, that is John Cowdy Fayemi, 2018 campaign media committee. But I still had hoped that you would look at the issues in a generic kind of a way to give viewers at home, your expert, viewpoint of being. I know you came in for Amado, for example. So there's nothing going on there that you don't know about. That's really what we wanted to, and I'm sure you'll be able to moderate stuff as you go along.
And this is what I'm trying to actually do as much as possible.
Okay.
But at the same time, we cannot deny the fact that we have a very tense situation in Ekiti State.
And that would have been enough. Thank you very much. To have just said that, look, there's a tense situation there. If I ask questions as to particulars, maybe, but you're not new to any of this. So thank you very much. Abiola, your take on the extent or shall we say the thoroughness of the security. Because I heard people from one of the parties, in fact it was the contender, Kayode Fayemi, his people were saying that, look, what we're doing in here is we're trying to see if we can persuade people to buy our wares. So I thought that was nice, and that was all, soft, and this is exactly the kind of thing we're talking about. This is the way politics should be. But this, when you look at this security, give me your thoughts.
Well, when you were talking about the deployment of 30,000 police or wherever in Ekiti State.
Apart from that, 19,000 civil defense corps officers.
I know, sir, I know very well. The primary function of the police is to protect life and property. And given the present situation in Ekiti, it called for serious deployment of security personnel. Mind you, not to intimidate anybody. Mm-hmm. The presence of the security there is not to intimidate anybody. Everybody there have the right to exercise their franchise, go out and vote without any fear or intimidation from anybody. And given the present situation in Ekiti presently is very tense. The incumbent deputy governor of the state, with the support of his own political party, PDP, they are working so hard to retain power at all costs. Why the APC, on the other hand, and all other political parties, they are not happy with what is on ground in Ekiti.
When you say they're not happy, what do you mean? Are you talking about the tension you referred to, which will be going back to Femi's point, or are you talking about the performance so far of the incumbent administration? What exactly do you mean by they're not happy with what's on ground?
Thank you very much, sir. What I mean by saying that they are not very happy, sir. If you go to Ekiti State today and Provincial conduct sample survey of the opinion of people about the current administration there, who is putting out his deputy to go and contest for governorship on a continuity agenda.
A legitimate agenda.
Very legitimate, my brother. We are not opposing that. But this year, funny enough, no salary will be paid so far in Ekiti State this year. The people, the indigent, are not happy. It is the indigent that are members of those political parties we're talking about. They are not foreigners.
Okay.
The people contesting are Ekiti people. Okay. They are feeling the pains of their people.
I want to come to yes, please.
Yeah, you see, because you see, there's a danger in this nation, and there's the need for us to separate politics from issues. It's important. Now, we are talking about a siege mentality. I'm asking my colleague here, if there are 4 DSS in this room now, their opinion will change concerning any issue. If you are talking about national issue, the presence of security agencies, the deployment itself, works on this. How many nations that you see, democratic nation, that you see the deployment of open display of security. Look, we are not even talking about this. You are talking about security. We are not even talking about the candidates.
Because
we are
exactly.
we are not I've listened to loads of programs. You know what we have been talking about? It's about APC, PDP. We are not even talking about the candidates. We are not even talking about their programs. And this is how we have been since 1999. And the cycle still continued till 2019, where we will not talk about issues, whether it's PDP or APC. Whoever wins, we govern the Ekiti people. And whoever wins, his policies will run on the entire Ekiti people. And in Nigeria, we have been voting for parties and not for policies. And this is where we have found ourselves. After almost 20 years of democracy, we have nothing, absolutely nothing whatsoever to show for it. And people will move from one party to another party, and they will use marketing communication to brand that party. As if those candidates don't have their baggages. It's time for us to talk about issues. What affects me, what affects you.
Indeed.
Not about candidate A, or not about parties. It's about issues. I've not seen any program where all these candidates have outlined their program. And that's exactly what we went in 2019.
This NGO Enough is Enough that has organized this party, this debate, because quite frankly, all the noise, by way of information, it's just apart from the whole security thing, it's just that major analysts and commentators think that it's Dr. Fayemi and Eleka.
It's not even like it's as if Fayemi is contesting.
It's as if the governor himself is contesting. But then again, the president will be in Ekiti to campaign for Dr. Fayemi as well.
It's important.
So,
it's his party.
So you could also say that it's as if the president Buhari is contesting. So
as well, because he's his minister that is
exactly.
contesting.
Yes, you could say the same thing. So, but I wanted to ask you, if not for this NGO that has now is going to let us hear finally what Professor Eleka has to say, what Ayegbusi has to say, what Adewale has to say, what Abiodun Aluko has to say. The issues are lost in there somewhere. So that's why I wanted to ask you, how important do you think the whole matter of issues are, and if these will actually influence the votes? Jide made the point about, we've been voting for parties, but are you satisfied, as a man of experience yourself, that your person, Dr. Fayemi, is coming bearing the goods that Ekiti people want?
Yori, before I address Dr. Johnson's issue-based submission.
But it's the same thing I'm saying now.
Let me also chip in a little bit with what my brother on the right said about the fact that the people are not happy. And that is a fact.
I'm sorry. I really wish you could cooperate with me and don't redirect.
I am going to cooperate. I'm cooperating with you.
To comment on the issue matter.
Now,
issue-based politics. How good is that in Ekiti, do you think?
Look at it this way, Yori. When Dr. Fayemi came to office in 2007 up until 2014, and this is what we know. It is not about what we don't know. There is no community in the entire Ekiti that he did not do at least 2 or 3 things based on what the community, based on what the people actually want. Okay, it will be like a community meeting, it will be like a town hall meeting then, and there was a whole slew of achievement that could be actually verified, by anybody. So that is one thing. But let me also address what Dr. Johnson said about the issue.
I've heard what you see. You're talking about the issues. This is. I just need to say that I would have wished that the PDP, representing Eleka and Ekiti, the PDP, would have been here to speak for themselves, because we made a heck of an effort. But for some reason, I don't want to go into names, but you can take it that we actually reached out to PDP side.
It would have been better too if one of them
we need someone to come and speak for Professor Eleka. If he himself can't come, it wasn't easy. We reached out to PDP, not 1, not 2, not 3. Unfortunately, for some reason, I don't know, it might have been a matter of convenience, I just don't know, they were not able to oblige. So it's unfortunate that you are saying what you are saying and they're not able to counter if they have anything to counter with.
Well, Yori, believe you me, I am not making anything up.
No,
and the facts are just too glaring as to what was done when Dr. Fayemi was there and what was done and what is being done, in this present administration.
But when Dr. Fayemi was there, the electorate said, we want to change. So is it going to do something that's different from what he did before?
To me, it wasn't necessary that the electorate said they wanted to change. And we all know that now. We all know that it was a massive rigging that took place in 2014. I remember Sergeant Coley, who actually came out with a tape recording. And even Aluko, the President Chief of Staff to Fayose, came out also in the public domain and said, look, the whole thing was rigged ab initio.
Okay,
Obanikoro also,
wait a minute,
confessed. So it wasn't that they...
I'm not contending any of the things you're saying,
Okay.
but I just want to remember that Dr. Kayode Fayemi then, he was not slow to concede victory and do the gentlemanly thing. In fact, he got accolades for being a statesman. You remember?
Yes,
Yet,
he did.
he would be somebody who would be very, very aware if he thought there was any hanky-panky. But I don't know. I'm just reminding you of that fact. It's on the ground, that Dr. Fayemi did not complain. He was a good sportsman, so to speak, at the time.
He cannot afford to have complained at that time. You know why? Because, one, you're dealing with somebody who upholds the rule of law. Once the INEC, the umpire says that, okay, this other guy won, of course,
okay.
He has to concede, because it's not from that school of thought that will say, no, we are not going to agree, we are going to, no.
Even the 2010. He went to court. In 2007, he actually won the election. He went to court to challenge, to correct that he was governor, to correct one impression. He was governor between 2010 and 2014.
Yes.
Now, he went to court to challenge.
Yes.
Nothing could have stopped him from going to court to challenge the
wasn't
election,
necessary.
because the first time he challenged the election. I think that our focus should be more on what is on ground now, what we will do for Ekiti people with respect to 2018 and beyond.
That's
the
why,
next cycle.
Exactly.
I think that's
what I wanted Femi to sort of
that should be our focus. You see, because in Nigeria, until we begin to practice issues-based politics and policies-based campaign and not voting for personality, will not solve problem. It is policies that will solve problem. In 1999, when there was the need for us to go back to democracy, they all went as such. They said, oh, we need a leader. Nigeria is almost divided. We need a leader that can pull Nigeria together. They went to prison. They brought Obasanjo out from prison. And the campaign team was the leader we can trust. We handed over to Obasanjo. When the nation was at the quagmire between 2011 and 2015, oh, we need a change. We need a change. We have to look for somebody. They went. Each of these, we brought Buhari, and there was change. The change promise. Each of these personalities that I've mentioned, they use marketing communication. They all had their baggages that we knew. But marketing communication was used to package them, to sell them. There was no issue-based campaign in 1999. I started to be corrected. There was no issue-based campaign in 2015. And that's the quagmire. And we want to continue with that cycle.
And Biola, that is the situation. I think it's Biola's turn. That is the situation that largely we still have. We are hearing, people are saying it's either Kayode Fayemi or it can't be Fayose, but the alter ego of Fayose in his deputy governor is running. So we're not getting any stuff by way of issues, what each candidate is going to do, although I think the governor of Ekiti recently promoted some people or something like that.
Yes.
He really promoted and was talking about he will be,
employment of
he'll be employing more people.
Yeah, about 2,000.
So do you, since it seems to me, I thought you were going to be sort of neutral, but it seems to me that you're leaning towards the APC camp. So be it, if that is what you want. What do you think your candidate, Dr. Fayemi, if I may say that, I don't know if you'll accept that, if he is indeed your candidate, what do you think he's bringing to the game this time that will not be knocked out by a man who has done it before?
Well, my lord,
Albeit his alter ego.
let me start to disagree with Dr.
Johnson.
on one issue.
Yes.
Yeah, Dr. Johnson. He submitted that what we need in this country is not issue of personality, but issue-based politics.
Do you agree or disagree with that?
I disagree with him.
Okay, okay.
I disagree with
Okay.
him. Totally.
You think we should subjugate issues to personalities of the gladiators?
Yes, that's
Okay.
my own line of argument.
Why do you say that? Is it because of the issue of character?
Let me try and expatiate on that.
Sure.
And use Ekiti State as a case study. Because Ekiti State is a unit of the Federation. Upon the creation of Ekiti State, Adebayo come on board. Thereafter Fayose, thereafter Shegoni, thereafter Fayemi, thereafter the same Fayose again. Now let us use that one as a case study, sir. Mm-hmm. You said I'm a bit tilted to the side of fire.
It seems so. It's for
Yes,
you to deny
said
or
so.
affirm.
You said so. You said so.
It's for you to deny or affirm.
Yes.
Do you deny or affirm it?
Well, I may not deny totally.
Okay. So you affirm a little.
A little.
You see, it is PDP that caused all of this. We gave PDP a chair here. For whatever reason, they didn't pick it up.
I'm here to provide an alternative view, an centrist view to the matter.
Which is even good.
Yes,
Which
yes.
is
I am a
Indeed.
bit for PDP and a bit for APC here.
Oh,
Okay.
I am not
I haven't heard any
supporting-
of the PDP side yet. Yo.
Fire me totally, while I'm not supporting Fayose totally.
Okay.
From the angle of the argument of my brother.
Look at the way Femi is
Doctor.
looking at you. Wait.
I'm listening. I'm listening. I'm enjoying it.
When Fayose came on board, he condemned the program of Fayemi in totality.
Okay.
He preached to Ekiti people, stomach infrastructure. That was his slogan to Ekiti people.
Up to today.
He condemned all the infrastructures, amenities provided by Fayemi then. And when he came on board, he decided to concentrate on 19 or 17.5 billion over a bridge, which I believe is not the needs, the common need, the needs of the common people of Ekiti State. Because Ekiti State is purely agrarian and civil servant state.
Ogun State has it. I just came back from Ofa. You didn't
Thank you very
condemn
much,
that
sir.
of Osun State. By
My
Aregbesola.
father-
Besides, Dr. Fayemi built.
My father-
Dr. Fayemi built a new governor's lodge. You remember?
Yes.
He didn't get to stay there.
I've not got-
It was
I'm-
even.
I'm still-
and
I'm
there are
still
those who
going
are
there.
criticizing.
I'm going there.
Was that what we needed
I'm
at
going
the time?
there. I am going there.
Okay.
My father and many of my brothers in Ekiti, they are farmers and civil servants. Of what use is overhead bridge to a farmer? How is it relevant to somebody that is farming there?
Okay. So those are the kind of things you said. Look, maybe from your point of view,
Yes.
Now he didn't have his priorities right.
You condemn the infrastructural facility of Fayemi. You ended up giving us bridge, and you refuse to pay their salary. Then where is that stomach infrastructure?
Okay,
Where
you know
is
what?
that stomach
Let's go on a quick break.
infrastructure?
I'm sure Femi is itching to get in on
He
this.
is the author of stomach
I am more than
infrastructure.
itching.
Okay.
And deny them their salary.
Stay with us, please. We'll be right back.
Count is on. The stakes are high, and democratic process in Nigeria is set for a big test as more than 30 candidates jostle for one position. On Saturday, July the 14th, the people of Ekiti will file out to elect a leader who who will govern the state for the next 4 years. TVC News brings you live coverage across the 16 local government areas of Ekiti State. Join us as our correspondents across the state and our panel of analysts in the studio help you make sense of the politics behind the contest and what the outcome will mean for Ekiti State. Studio opens on Friday, July the 13th at 6 p.m. Ekiti votes only on TVC News Nigeria.
Welcome back. So we have Mr. Femi Odere, Dr. Jide Johnson, Mr. Biola Daramola on the panel. We're looking at the Saturday election. And, well, it would appear to me that only Dr. Johnson is the non-partisan one in this particular set. But Mr. Biola Daramola has said that, well, he's, you know, a little on one side.
It's for nobody, it's for everybody.
Yeah, it's for nobody and it's for everybody. Yeah, that suddenly, you know. But, you know, Femi, we left, I think the stomach infrastructure thing, you know, is what we left on. Which politician doesn't do stomach infrastructure? Let me, you know, reduce stomach infrastructure to what it is. Which politician, even is Dr. Fayose, is Dr. Fayose not going to, if you know, the electorate say you're the man, he's going to have to engage himself in some sort of quote-unquote stomach infrastructure. It's just that the term sounds funny, but every politician does it.
Well, listen, Yori, there is stomach infrastructure and there is stomach infrastructure.
Okay.
Now, let us start with this. If we are going to use that phrase, stomach infrastructure, yes, there was.
Because
stomach,
unfortunately, we haven't got into the issues here to.
There was stomach infrastructure
whether it is agriculture,
when Dr.
education,
Fayemi,
whether it is whatever.
When Dr. Fayemi was there. But do you know the definition of his own stomach infrastructure? And that was actually empowering people by way of providing jobs.
Okay.
Okay. I don't know if you have heard of why the youths in agriculture, you know, scheme and all of that. There are so many of these schemes, okay, that was provided, and that was that they say, teach me how to fish is quite different from giving me fish. Okay, yes, that can be qualified as stomach infrastructure, but it was a kind of stomach infrastructure that actually empowered people, that people became independent of government because they are doing something on their own through the assistance of government by providing the money and all of that.
And do you think this was verifiable at the time?
Yeah, and that was this.
You think it was verifiable?
Of course, now, of course, it was verifiable. You remember the Owarubo, you know, that Fayemi was given
social welfare
to the agent. So this can actually be qualified to be stomach infrastructure.
If we want to call it by that term.
It's sort of a social security. But it's quite different from Fayose's stomach infrastructure, whereby all he does is go out there, you know, give people 500 naira, you know, or 1,000 naira, Femi, and give them a bowl of rice and eat with them.
I hear you. Thank you very much for that. What do you think is the most pressing need that whoever is the governor, and it's clear to me that you hope Dr. Fayemi will be the governor.
He's going to be the governor.
What do you think is the most pressing need that needs to be addressed in Ekiti now?
That's a tough one. You know why I said it's a tough one?
So what's the
because I'm alluding to.
Since you're on the campaign media or committee, what does the campaign say? What does the campaign document say?
The most pressing need now, to me, is like a patient who's really, really sick, okay, who's in a surgery room. The first thing you do is to stabilize the patient so that it doesn't die.
As bad as that?
Yeah, it is that bad. It's that bad. We're talking about a state that is owing 119 billion naira. Fayose generated 90 billion naira for the past 4 years. And what do you do with all this 90 billion naira? The bridge, the so-called stomach infrastructure, buying helicopters and all of that. Civil servants, teachers, pensioners, they are being owed at least 8 months' salary. Now you tell me, if you borrowed all this amount of money, and the teachers, the civil servants, and the pensioners, and all of that have not been paid for 8 months, where did the money go? If you have not provided one single employment for an Ekiti indigene since 4 years that you've been there, and all of a sudden now you said they should bring application. Come on now. You know,
how about security? Hasn't he invested in security in Ekiti?
I'm sorry?
Hasn't the current administration invested in security?
What kind of security?
No, I'm just asking because these are the kind of concerns.
No, he hasn't. The security that you may be alluding to is empowering the thugs and the labor and the union and the transport workers and all of that. These are the kind of
there's nowhere, anywhere you have a party controlling power in the Southwest. You can quote me on this. It's anywhere you have a party controlling the power in the Southwest, they have control of the transport worker. I'm coming. No. You have control. You have control. If you don't have that control, you don't have that control. It's there for everybody to see. Because we are here, we hold the public to give them a truthful account. There is no politician in Nigeria that has contested election, primaries, that has not given envelope, that included, but no. There's no convention they've had in Nigeria where people have not shared money. I know what I'm talking about. So every politician in Nigeria practices stomach infrastructure. I'll give you what came out of Undo's election. He will tell you, and it's incontrovertible. Dibo Kosebe. Was that not the time that, it was the time that came. Are you getting my point? So don't let us limit it to a particular individual it is our practice. Now, people mortgage their 4 years because election is important. It's mandate. You are surrendering your right and your decision making to one person, and you do it with your thumbprint. Your thumbprint is your signature, which can never be forged by any. They can forge your signature, but your thumbprint is unique. Yes. So you go on that day of the election, which is called mandate, your date with destiny, that I'm surrendering my right to take decision concerning my health care, concerning my education, concerning this to you, so that you take care of me for the next 4 years. So I'm giving it to you. That right belongs to you. And we can't joke with that on that basis. And that is why we have had this issue. Look, we can do name calling. What you're saying, I think what should be paramount is that what is the governor going to do the next 4 years concerning education? What is he going to do concerning bringing industries into Ekiti? What are they going to do?
How important are these very important matters in the minds of the Ekiti voters? Since not both of them, because we want to hear issues. We want to hear what the issues are.
You know what the political class have succeeded in doing since 1999? They perpetuate poverty. And they come back at the end of the 4 years electoral cycle and they share money. Party B share money during election. Ask your guys that are going for the election, let them give you tapes. I know you have tapes in this station. I know most media organizations have tapes. I know journalists have that account because I know what I'm talking about. I've monitored election, I've participated in the election. In this country, I know what I'm talking about. So they perpetuate poverty and they share 2,000, they share 3,000, they share 1,000. And on that election, you surrender your rights and your life. And like Esau, you hit the porridge and your life is mortgaged. And that's the mess we are.
Unfortunately, we have not got issues based. And, Mr. Daramola actually said that, look, I will subjugate, issues for the moment, temporarily, for the personality or party. And that's one of the problems that we're trying to see if this time around will be addressed. That everybody in Nigeria doesn't know what the most important people in Nigeria will be the Ekiti citizens, of course. But everybody else is going to be looking, and they want to know what this turns on. And that, I think, is one of the problems that we have. We don't know. This is the way it has come down to be, that people go and vote for a face or vote for a party. Yakub, good morning. You're on the line. Thank you for calling in.
I'm there. Chief Yori, good morning, sir.
Thank you, sir.
And then good morning to Three Wise Man and then Dr. Jide Johnson.
Good morning.
Let me begin by saying, Dr. Jide, I really share your opinion. And then our advice, because I can see that you are so passionate about this Nigeria and the citizen as a whole. I feel like you join a political party and then try to play all these things that you are saying there, because it's quite different. You have said it earlier, because You see, all these political parties and the people in the party, they know that Nigerian citizens, the poverty on the land is so much. That is why they will come on the day election or before the election and then try to share 500 naira and then 2 cup of rice. Nobody can give me that. I will vote for my conscience. But I would think that we are talking about security and clearly. See, they need to mobilize that security for one reason. If they fail to mobilize so much that security and then something went wrong at the long run, and then the same people will come out and then see the federal government, they don't provide security, that's why this thing happened, and blah, blah. See, the security must be tight in that very particular state because the way they campaign is very, very tense, as they are saying in the studio earlier. Let me say this. The present governor of that state, if you see him campaigning, you will know that they need to provide security. That is number one. Number two, the gentleman at the right side said that they don't need bridge. No, I quite disagree with you, sir. They need the bridge, but the person provide that bridge. The question we need to ask is, at what cost? At what cost? Assuming that they're collecting all these security votes as well. What are those governors? What are they using those security votes for? And then at the end of the day, something go wrong in some various states. They will say federal government did not provide their security. What are they using the security for Nigeria to ask questions? Thank you and God bless you.
Okay, thank you very much. I think we have an insert now. My producers are telling me we got an insert.
Commissioner, Mrs. Aminat Sakari, and 2 deputy directors, Mr. Pascal Nwanwe and Mr. Abdurasak Agbola Yusuf, who is very close to this national commissioner. We are equally concerned by the activities of a director of procurement who, until recently, was in charge of printing ballot papers in INEC, Mr. Kenneth Ukeagu, who is the arrowhead of the plotting of the rigging agenda. Okay, so
Femi, let me come to you.
Sure.
They say in war and politics, all is fair. You know, give me your comment there. Was he crying? What is the thing? What is the fable? How do they say? Was he crying wolf?
As far as security, you mean? Or as far as what? Or the commissioner?
Yes, he made some allegations there that maybe the grind wasn't as level as it should be. So let me just shout now.
Again, there are some things that are known, especially about this Ekiti election. And that is actually what I'm going to be basing my arguments on.
Okay.
Now, it has been alleged, you know, we can say it's an allegation, but it has not been disputed either that Fayose is harboring some INEC officials in government house. And not only that, it has also been announced, and Fayose has not renounced it either, that some Niger Delta boys are currently in government house, okay, ready to do havoc. Okay, those are things that we know for sure. Because if you're accused of something and you didn't come out and say it wasn't true, then so that is on the issue of security.
Is that the way you think this election is going to go? Because you can see that we've not talked about whether it is agriculture, whether it is education, or whether it is infrastructure, apart from the criticism of the bridge. We haven't talked about any of those issues about what's in it for the people of Ekiti, whoever wins in that election. But we're talking about these things. Maybe it's because that is what has taken center stage, perhaps. You're saying that it is the whole matter of the security and integrity of the election that has taken center stage. Unfortunately, I told you at the beginning, Redeemed Christian Church of God was praying for peace. The UK High Commissioner was there the other day, and so on and so forth. It looks like all of this has taken over from the actual democratic normality of this is our pitch. You're better off with us. Super. Good morning. Thank you for calling in.
Good morning, great Jerry. And good morning to my 3 gentlemen in the studio.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Uncle Jerry, I think today this program is biased because although you have clarified it, you brought in 2 people, that is a mouthpiece to fire me, and why the doctor is on the neutral side, because I've never seen the doctor to be either APC or PDP. And I want to encourage him, and I want to say thank you. I always like to watch him.
And thank you. You also said we cleared it a bit. You said we cleared it a bit when we said that we just couldn't get hold of a PDP representation.
I will have
I know.
It. I would have loved it if the thing would be shifted until the mouthpiece of the PDP will be there. Because it will not be fair for you to have two people. Okay, I want to say something, sir.
Yes.
The gentleman with the cap is saying, "Oh, fire is owing salary." Yes. Who among the governors are not owing salary apart from Lagos State? Do a survey between the APC governors and the PDP governors. You will discover that the PDP governors are even paying salary more than the APC governors. Is it Rocha or Korocha?
You have that as a fact? Wait now, Super. You have that as a verifiable fact?
No, it doesn't.
Super.
No, it doesn't.
Oguyori, I want to thank Dr. Joseph because the man on the middle there, when he started, he was flaring, but Dr. Joseph has made him to calm down. Dr. Johnson, who is a neutral guy, has made those two.
Don't worry about that. Super. Just say your own. Say your own view. You gave me an unverifiable fact just now. Super.
Let me tell you what I want to say. What I want to say for the fact is that we always talk about either APC or PDP without even knowing the candidate that we are voting for. I can bet you on Thursday there's going to be a debate on Thursday.
Yes.
And Uncle Henry, I want you to ask the gentleman in the middle, if I will be on the debate.
I don't know this mouthpiece business. Maybe
spokesperson.
Spokesperson.
I want you to ask him if I will be on the debate on that Thursday.
He will be. Maybe he went with us at the top of the program. There will be 5 of them. Dr. Fayemi will be on that debate. Professor Eleka will be there. Akiloye Ayegusi will be there. Shegun Adewale will be there. And Abiodun Aluko will be there.
Great theory. Lastly, those security outfits that we are putting in there, I just think they want to use it to intimidate the people. And I can assure you that a lot of people will be intimidated and they will be afraid to come in and to come and vote.
Okay, super. Thank you very much. That's your take. Every man, to his own.
Yori, let me say this much. See, we are all talking about this Ekiti election as if we don't know the antecedent of any of these two people.
Okay.
And we're talking about Dr. Fayemi and Fayoshe. Although Fayemi is not running, but he has already said that he is engaging in a continuity agenda.
Yes.
And the deputy, the candidate, Professor Olushola Eleka, has already said, and is on the record too, that he is going to continue from where his boss left off. Now, what are we
And then also, let me add, also Fayoshe is on record as saying that only PDP can win election here. Very provocative.
Yes.
Very provocative, but he has said that.
Of course, because if you study what Fayoshe has always been saying, it is a personalization of politics. It is a personalization of the state. This is my state. I'm in charge here. I'm in charge here. Because people love me. Nobody can come here and take this away from me and all of that. So if those statements are not threatening enough, I don't know what else can be threatening.
Okay,
let me also address what Dr. Johnson has always been saying about this. About this issue of candidates being voted for rather than issues being voted for. Dr. Johnson, we've all been here since 1999.
I'm going to come back to you.
When you don't know what...
I'm going to come back to you. There's a guy on the phone, so I'm going to come back to you to continue. Mr. Adeyonju in Isolo, good morning.
Good morning, sir. And good morning to Dr. Johnson and the two gentlemen there.
Sure.
I have listened carefully. My name is Adeyonju Wole. I happen to be from Ekiti State. In fact, I'm from Ekiti to be specific. So I am abreast of what is going on in Ekiti State right now. Dr. Johnson has said it all. We are yet to have a responsive, a sensitive leadership at the ends of affairs, whether at federal or state level since 1999. What people busy doing is basically pursuing their personal agenda. It might interest you to know the war in Nigeria right now is between the bourgeois and the grassroots. The war is between the rich and the poor. The politicians, they look for every opportunity they can leverage on to further impoverish the poor in Nigeria. and they do this through this political exercise and the rest.
So, Mr.
Now,
Mr. Adeyanju, is it that you don't have confidence in any of the 40 contestants in Saturday's election?
As far as I'm concerned, they are birds of a feather. They are birds of a feather.
All right,
as far
then.
as I'm concerned, they are birds of a feather.
A
politician will remain a politician.
All right.
Now, Dr. Johnson said something that is very vital, very, very important. Bring out your issues. Let the campaign be issue-based. What did you intend to do for the Ekiti people? I want to give you, for instance, in health sector, can you believe in the whole of Ekiti State, there are some diagnostic tools that are not available. No CT scan in any of the hospitals in Ekiti State. The closest place you can get CT scan in that area is Ibadan, UCH Ibadan. The one that is in, what they call it, the one that is in Ganifawa Emin Center in Ondo, it collapsed over 2 years ago. If an individual requires an investigation, medical investigation that will require CT scan in Ekiti State, it is disheartening. Not single CT scan in Ekiti State.
All right.
The health sector in Ekiti State is in shambles. And it is not peculiar with the present government.
Okay.
It has been on. When Fayemi was there, what was he able to do in respect of the health sector? What was he able to do in respect of the poverty of the people? All these people, they know Ekiti people are poor because it's only salary state. All right? We are looking for a government that will be able to tackle the issue.
All right. Thank you very much, Mr. Adeyanju, for calling in. Thank you very much. You've heard, a prospective, well, he said he's an Ekiti man. He might not be a voter, but he's a stakeholder. Can you address his concerns?
Yes, I can, Yori. See, unfortunately, people talk without actually going by what is out there as far as records are concerned. He mentioned the health sector. Mm-hmm. When Dr. Fayemi was there, Ekiti State then was one of the health system of Ekiti and the infant mortality rate then was one of the lowest when Dr. Fayemi was there. He provided money for the health sector. He provided.
Let us talk about this. Let's take. Can you give me a chance? Let's talk about that. Because it's been on for almost 5 minutes.
Let me bring Okorafor in Abia State. Mazi, good morning.
On for 5 minutes.
Good morning, sir. Good morning, Dr. Johnson and co in the studio. Honestly speaking, Ekiti election is a smooth test for Ekiti residents. If they refuse to come out and vote, they shouldn't blame any Tom, Dick, and Harry. All registered voters with TVC should come out and vote. I beg the security agencies to be professional in their job. We should know that the whole world is focusing on Nigeria as a country. Politicians, this is not do or die answer because God Almighty is watching everybody. It's what they call boomerang effect. If anything you do in this world, whether we like it or not, we must believe it. Now, the question is this. The soldiers should know that we don't need soldiers at any polling booth. Listen, this is democratic system of government, democracy. Democracy is not a military system. The problem we have in Nigeria is illiteracy. That is why we have when we say property. Because if Nigerians are literate, all these issues, soldiers, that nobody will care about it. They will just come quietly and come and vote and go. But because of our level of illiteracy, we believe that when you see soldiers, poor people, that is fear already. So what I'm telling is the government of Nigeria, they shouldn't allow any soldier or anybody with gun or any person to near the polling booth. If they want, they should stay at the checkpoint and do their job because all their presence alone is inside any police is a security problem to the Nigerians. Right. Thank you very much. Thank you, Dr. Johnson, and our people.
Thank you very much. We are talking about health sector. I pray, and I've said it on this, may you never fall sick and go to the hospital. I was at the hospital about 3-4 weeks ago. In Nigeria, there are only eight radiotherapy centers in the whole of Nigeria. 8. 1, 2, 3, 8 functioning in the whole of Nigeria. I was at the hospital about 3 weeks ago when a foremost urologist, surgeon, was talking to a patient that had prostate. And he said, you know what, sir, you see that we remove this, we do this. In one of the teaching hospitals in Lagos, university teaching hospitals. And he said, well, the best one are in Ghana is $10,000. I was close to tears that there's not the one in Nigeria, they have issues. I was listening to the conversation. And we talk about, we joke with our lives. We joke with our lives in this nation. I'm telling you, and people will come, we do cosmetic programs.
One moment.
You see, I don't want to go personal on this matter. Because if I begin to share from Lagos to Kaduna to Maiduguri, there's no government that has met the need of Nigerian people.
Give me a break. Mr. Akinwande in Irawo. Mr. Akinwande in Irawo. Good morning.
Hello, good morning, sir. My name is Akimade.
Akimade, I'm sorry about that. Forgive me.
Yes.
Akimade, are you in Irawo?
Yes, I'm in Irawo in Lagos State.
Sure.
Yes. A quick thing. I need to correct the doctor. I mean, he kept saying marketing, communication. I'm a graduate of marketing. And let me quickly clarify one thing. Ultimately, it is what the consumers want that a producer produces. It is what the electorate want that the political parties will give, that the politicians will give. Okay, if it's not going, it doesn't matter the ideas you want, you have, or whatever it is you want to postulate. If the people decide, and it is their right to vote for 1,000 naira and things like that, that is what will ultimately happen. So we are ultimately our own problem.
But marketing communication is a specialization. Marketing communication is a specialization.
Let him listen. Now, do you know Madison Avenue?
I just want to drag the point because we've run out of time. We've completely run out of time.
Perception.
I just wanted to say that.
Marketing communication, you manage perception.
You don't really need a PDP man anymore in this board because I think Dr. Johnson is already...
The shaping of the communication to achieve the desired objective is best handled by a marketing communication specialist.
We don't buy product, we buy perception.
That gentleman, thank you very much for calling in. So I'm not saying you're wrong, but, you know, that's just the way it is. Sorry, sir. Femi, because I got to give you...
One thing I want to say, because I think we're out of time, basically, is to actually address some of the
things that the Ekiti people would get if Fayemi were to come on board.
Do you know that one of the reasons why people kind of not like Fayemi in 2014 coming back was because they accused him of not sharing money. They accused him of not being available. But this man concentrated on policy issues.
Yes.
And the policies of his government was the result of what we're seeing today now. Okay. This man did not, I mean, I'm talking about Fayoshe now.
But are those things being brought out on the campaign trail by Dr. Fayemi?
He did. See, Dr. Johnson,
we've completely run out of time. I'm sorry.
Is missing the point
nobody can
about this issue.
Because there is no time for anybody anymore.
Facility Nigeria is working for the
Gentlemen, I've just got to thank you. The producer is a dictator. He said time. So, Mr. Femi Odire, thank you very much, sir.
Thank you.
Dr. Johnson.
The producer is a Democrat. He's telling your time.
Thank you very much. And Mr. Adaramola, thank you very much. So that's our program. Please join us tomorrow for a fresh edition. I am Yori Falani. Bye-bye for now.
Thank you.
The countdown is on. The stakes are high, and democratic process in Nigeria is set for a big test as more than 30 candidates jostle for one position. On Saturday, July the 14th, the people of Ekiti will file out to elect a leader who will govern the state for the next 4 years. TVC News brings you live coverage across the 16 local government areas of Ekiti State. Join us as our correspondents across the state and our panel of analysts in the studio help you make sense of the politics behind the contest and what the outcome will mean for Ekiti State. Studio opens on Friday, July the 13th at 6 p.m. Ekiti votes only on TVC News Nigeria.